Yo, what's up guys, welcome to my humble YouTube channel where I bring you fanfiction that will brighten your days. Before we start, a subscribe is greatly appreciated, and don't forget to leave a like and ring the bell icon so you won't miss exciting new fanfiction stories. That time I got Isakied as a slime. DanmachixTTIGRS by awalker0641. Chapter 10. A headache of a morning. Rimuru woke up after his long night of getting sloshed with the goddess Loki. Sure, it was great while it lasted from what he can remember. However, when it comes to morning, it becomes a different story. Oh wow. I got a giant headache. Rimuru thinks to himself as he comes to his senses. How much did I drink last night? What even happened? Less than notice. Master consumed 15 ales and 4 bottles of fruit wine. Greater than it says with disappointment. Wait, seriously? He yells internally only to complain about the pain. Raphael, is poison resistance on? Less than negative. Poison resistance is malfunctioning and will not be able to activate for a couple of hours. Greater than. Huh? What do you mean it's malfunctioning? Did you turn it off? Raphael, please. He begs his skill only to be met with silence again. Rimuru just sighs to himself and decides to live with the pain since his skill is not willing to take pity on him. He just decides to look around. He can see the sunlight coming in through the window as he looks at the floor. However, the floor he looks at is not familiar. Huh? Did Hinata put in a new floor? He continues to look around only to hazily see a desk filled with papers. It reminds him of his desk at home and sends a shiver down his non-existent spine. As he continues to observe his surrounding, he sees lots of alcohol bottles in a closet that is partially open. Inside he sees shorts. When did he get those? As a matter of fact, when did he have this many bottles of alcohol laying around his house? He is pretty sure Hinata would berate him if he had this much in his house. He remembers very little last night. Did he drink more and buy a bunch of paper and shorts? But why would he do that? There was only one answer available to him. I was piss drunk and went on a shopping spree. It was the only possible answer he could come up with. Yet it still did not make any sense. New floors, shorts, empty bottles of alcohol, and stack of papers. It was like he was at someone else's home. Oya, good morning Rimuru, a voice says playfully. He turns to see a man with red hair sitting on a chair. His eyesight begins to readjust till he can see clearly. Oh, it's Loki. The woman Loki. He reminds himself. That was why he spent so much on drinks, as he starts to remember what the heck happened last night, sort of. He remembers buying her the 3 ales to appease her, which she chugged on after another. Then they ordered another round. If he remembered correctly, they talked what they liked to drink. She kept talking about something called soma. Whatever that was. He liked a lot of Tempest products but favored a cold beer on a hot day or sake. Loki also agreed that it was good. After a few more rounds, they talked about their underlings. She talked about Mama, who was always keeping everybody in line. That reminded him of Shuna. He hoped that they were all doing well and not causing much trouble. The night went on as they drank more and it got hazier. He barely remembers leaving as the restaurant began to fill up with costumers. Mia had to chase them away before they drank her whole stock. Which he doubted, but still it probably was time for them to leave. Especially Loki, who was drunk as a skunk. Then it got hazy from there. He looks at her. What are you doing in my house? He was not mad but more concerned. At this all he got was a question look. Huh? House? This place, is mine. What? What? Rimuru was lost. Her house? Why was he there? That did not make any sense. He was sure his drunk butt would go home. Not to some chick's place. Well, that is actually debatable. He thought to himself. But he thought that he went home. He tried to think back but could not remember. So he did the only thing he could do. Play dumb. Ha ha ha. I was just kidding. He tried to play dumb with a god. Why are ya lying? Loki squinted at him. Ya know ya can't lie to a god, right? What are stupid? What? He was shocked and in pain from his headache. He never heard that before. Well, actually the only god I have ever ran into was Uranus. And I figured it was best not lie to that guy. So it makes sense that I did not know that. What if I am stupid? He asked the goddess. All she did was shrug. Huh, well, guess she does not really care. I might as well get out of here. As he tries to get up, he realized something. Jiggle jiggle. Also, why are a slime? She sat in front of him, eyes inspecting him inch by inch. Rimuru was in his slime form. In front of a god, in her house. Less than notice. Loki Familia is one of the strongest familias, greater than. Wow, thanks for letting me know, Raphael, he thought dejectedly. Less than my pleasure, master. Greater than, it sounded pleased with itself. In the house of the strongest familias. When did I switch into my slime form? Less than, it occurred when master was in the room. Greater than, he was thankful he did that at least. Yet in this situation, he knew that he, Rimuru Tempest, was thoroughly screwed. So he did the only thing he could think of. To roll onto the floor and hop out of the window. She should be as hungover and have a headache like him, right? All he could think was that any man caught in the same position would do the same. Except they would get their clothes and hide their junk. He put his hastily made plan into motion. He rolled on the sheets towards the edge. He hopped onto the floor. He kept rolling past the empty liquor bottles and stacks of papers. He then jumped toward the window. As he approached, he braced for impact. The only impact he had was with a pair of hands. Where do y'all think are goin', huh? You got a lot of questions to answer, slime. As she pulled him towards her and set him on the bed. She mumbled that he is really squishy and that the whole night was not a dream apparently. The goddess started to interrogate him. Apparently she had a lamp pointed at him and had a brown Sherlock Holmes cap on. Who are y'all really? What are y'all doing air? Are y'all really human? Are y'all really a man? How did y'all get air? Why are y'all so blue and squishy? Did y'all really drink that much? How do y'all reproduce? Can y'all make your own pen? As the goddess's questions got more and more complicated and personal, Rimuru silently cried inside. I'm dead. No way I'm getting out of this. Sniff. Goodbye world. Goodbye Tempest and my friends. I'll miss you, alcohol. Oh, and you to Hinata. As he kept dragging on his goodbyes, it sounded like Raphael sighed. Less than notice. All gods and goddesses' powers are sealed. No harm can be done to master, greater than. When it said this, Rimuru saw a glimmer of hope. Also, his headache started to fade away. Apparently his skill pitied him in his current situation. Yeah, that's right. Thank you so much, partner. He knew he won't be killed, so he decided that he would talk his way out. He clears his throat. This causes the goddess's questions to stop. Well, while this is fun and all, I'm going to take my leave. Peace. He started to bounce off the bed only to be caught again. Y'all ain't going nowhere. Not till y'all answer my questions. Rimuru looked at her in the eyes in response. Well, she thought he was looking in her eyes. Even if you told anyone what I am, no one would believe you. Saying that I am a talking slime will only get you laughed at. Also, most people would know that you were drunk last night. There is no way that you have anything on me. He knew his reasoning was soundproof. But then why was her smile not going away? Well, that is true and all. However, her smile grew. Y'all slept with me. And everybody would believe that, she said with her mischievous smile. He froze. Huh. I slept with her. I did not do that, did I? Did I? Less than notice. She used master as a pillow. Greater than, all he could do was thank God. Or gods in this case. While it may be true, you only used me as a pillow. No one will care about that. You, an unknown entity, slept with a goddess. And me at that. That would be highlight of the town. And gods like gossip. He knew it. He was soundly defeated. If she went around spewing that and Hinata got word of it, he would receive the most iciest of iciest glares on the planet. He shivered at the thought. And she would not get any repercussions. Why? Well, she is immortal, a goddess, and head of one of the most powerful familias. He just sighed. Fine, I'll tell you my story. Put me down and find somewhere comfortable. She looked at him with interest and did just that. Well, where do I begin? He then told Loki how he, Rimuru Tempest, was reincarnated in Isakied as a slime. A couple hours passed by the time he finished his story. He tried to briefly explain his life while skipping out on some parts. Such as killing 20,000 people, taking their souls, and then reincarnating the dead. Also, anything that would explain how strong he currently was. Sure, she learned about some of his skills, but he low-balled the power of them. And that is all. Any question? Nah. Huh. What do you mean by, nah? I ain't got any questions. Huh. was all he could say. He just spilled his life story and got a nah. As long as she is not going to question anything, I won't argue. Well, alright. You won't tell anyone, will you? Well, it depends. What are y'all willin' to give me? She looks at him inquisitively. He paused for a bit. He looked around and then came up with an idea. One that benefits them both. He switches into his human form, which got a look of interest from her. If you keep this a secret, I'll take you out to drink once a week. And it will all be on me. Not only would she keep quiet, but they both would get a drink. And she did make for a good drinking buddy from what he could remember. After Rimuru said this, Loki had stars in her eyes. Deal. She jumps up and shakes his hand. Alright. Well, I'll see you later. As Rimuru was about to use the window so he would not show off dominate space, Loki said, "Oh, you should be fine to go through the front door. The kiddos know you're a guest." Huh. I'm not sure if that good or not. Well, thanks. At this he left to find the exit, leaving a goddess to her thoughts. A beautiful night's morning, Hinata woke up in her bed wearing a white t-shirt and black shorts she bought recently. The shirt was just the right fit. It was tight enough that it was comfortable and showed her womanly figure, yet loose enough that it did not feel like it was suffocating her. Her shorts were short. Like short shorts. The short shorts conformed to her to accentuate her feminine figure. She threw the covers off her and got up. Her feet touched the cold wood floor. She walks over to her dresser doors and pulls out some sweatpants and a loose shirt. She undresses herself, exposing her beautiful figure, and redresses into the sweatpant and shirt. Sure, her and Rimuru were getting closer, but she was not going to show him what she wore to bed. Never in her life. After she dresses, she heads downstairs. As she steps down the steps, she smells the air. At this time there would be fresh food being cooked for breakfast by Rimuru. She was surprised that he could cook when he first did. He seemed unreliable, but surprised her when she tasted it. She started to dabble in cooking since she was brought from Earth. But now she is getting serious. She was not going to let Rimuru do all the cooking, no matter how good it was. I won't be outdone by him, she thinks. But shakes her head, and oh, I won't let him do it every day. Yes. That is the only reason she is cooking. Good morning, Rimuru. As she steps on the stairs and sniffs the air, only to find that there was nothing and not get a response to her good morning. Odd, he usually is here by now. Sometimes he would have came earlier and made something. It was not the first time he was gone. She learned that he does not actually need sleep. So he goes out to the town and does his own thing at night. It surprised her and told him that if he heard him near her room at night, she'd kill him. She also thought he might go to the entertainment district. Yet he does not come home with the smell of cheap perfume and alcohol. She ruled that out. She walks to the kitchen only to find it empty. She goes to the dining room to find no food on the table. She squints. Did he not make me anything? She walks back to the kitchen but finds no dishes drying or dirty dishes. Did he not come back? It was the only thing she could think of. So today she would make herself breakfast and wait for answers. Also read some of the books in the study till he got back.